Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur was always going to be a key fixture as far as deciding where it is that the Premier League title would be heading. For once, Arsenal fans were actually backing Spurs, who are of course their heated North London rivals, because City knew that losing in this particular fixture would basically put a spanner in their works for getting a fourth straight title. So basically, the math is such that Arsenal needed a favour, whether it be a draw, whether it be a defeat, anything of the sort. They needed that from Spurs, or rather they needed Spurs to inflict either a defeat or get a draw against Manchester City. Yet, despite all of that, and perhaps because of that, Tottenham Hotspur fans did something rather unusual, and this was true whether you check social media or whether you looked at how fans reacted at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They cheered on Manchester City when they were scoring goals against them. I mean, where exactly does this come from is beyond me, but suffice to say it hasn't gone down too well with a lot of people. But before we get to that, let's look at how it is that this situation came about. As I said, Spurs fans ended up cheering on Manchester City when they scored 2 goals, and the reason for this was they did not want Arsenal to win the Premier League. I am not kidding with you. And what it's done now is raise major questions over what exactly it is that fan support and fan behavior should be in these circumstances. There were a great number of Tottenham fans, whether it be on social media or other platforms, who were more than okay with them, cheering on City, because they said we did not want Arsenal to win the title. That's how deep our hatred for Arsenal is. We couldn't stand watching them win the title, so we're okay watching our team lose this particular game. Understandably, that's not a sentiment that was shared, let's say, by Spurs manager Ange Postecoglou, who even before the game said very clearly that, listen, I don't want to be hearing any of this. He said that if you're going by social media, 99% of them will want Spurs to lose versus Man City, but please don't tell me that's your world. In fact, Postecoglou would go on further saying that if you think like that, you maybe perhaps should be considering therapy, because how is it that you can cheer against your team actually winning a match? But that did not stop fans from actually going ahead and cheering when, City ended up scoring. In fact, they did a celebration that is rather common with City fans. They dubbed the Poznan, which sees fans turn around and start jumping up and down. Check out the clip right here for yourself. It gets even worse because you realize that when the manager himself figured out that there were fans who were cheering on City scoring, he took particular issue with one fan and actually ended up having a verbal confrontation with him in the middle of the game. Again, check it out right here for yourself. Now, I get it, rivalries are a thing when it comes to football, and you definitely don't want one of your biggest rivals winning the title, but perhaps this is fan behavior going too far. The reason for that is that in the quest to deny Arsenal, let's say, another title or their first title in about 20 years, what Spurs fans ended up doing was cheering against their team and potentially playing a very small role in ensuring that they missed out on Champions League football. You heard that right. Spurs, before this game, were very much in the race for a Champions League spot, but they needed to win their last game and then hope that Aston Villa, who were in 4th place, ended up dropping points during their last game of the weekend. They could have still gotten there, but Spurs losing this particular game ensured that Villa have now qualified, because there's a 5-point gap with just 1 game to go, a gap that Spurs cannot make up. And what Spurs fans ended up doing here is short-sighted. They cheered their own team on as they were losing the match, and then pretty much ensured that they're not going to be able to actually get something which is a tangible, noteworthy qualification. You want to be making it to the Champions League. It brings more exposure, it brings more money, it brings more prestige. Instead, what you've done is cheered on your own team as they ended up failing. I don't quite frankly understand it. I would never be able to cheer on my own or any team going up against my own particular football team, regardless of whether or not that would mean that a title would be going towards one of my rivals. But that's just how I feel. What do you guys think? Do you think this is justified behavior? Do you disagree with it entirely? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon. Follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side though, it is goodbye.